We out here in Seattle with it.
Seattle, here we are. You see the stairs going out there?
Yeah.
Of like forest tree cutting, like
Yeah. For 3 hours of fucking. Oh, you're all good. You're all good. Yeah, I'm just getting to work. We're in Mount Rainier National Park, south of Seattle, Washington. And so far, we're about a mile in, doing the Paradise Loop. I saw paradise and was like, hey, it must be paradise. So let's go see some paradise. This has been the trail so far. Pretty nice. Can't complain after that whole rocky, sandy stuff at Mount Bachelor in Oregon. We're about to find out. Nice sunny day up here on the mountain. You know, as nice as the sunshine is and the view would be if it was cleared up, the hike is still worth it with all this fog. It makes it a little bit more mystical, adds to the experience.
I know flowers, but not out here.
Oh! So the crazy thing about that little squirrel slash chipmunk interaction is there were a lot of people over there. That was called Panoramic Point. And people were shooing the animal away, and it had jumped up in a girl's lap. She shrieked, got up, was frightened. They shoo it off. No one's willing to give it food, shooing it off. And I'm like, I know I got some peanuts and some nuts in here, and I know they're gonna come up to me because these chipmunks are smart and they know that people are gonna have food and snacks up there. So I busted out and they came over. I made their day, they made mine. It's called a symbiotic relationship. Nature's full of them. I pursue them on a daily basis. This trail's getting nice and rugged. So we're finding out. Today's word comes from the book of Matthew, the New Testament, the first book of the Gospels, the first book of the New Testament, beginning in Chapter 12, verse 33. A tree is known by its fruit. Either make the tree good and its fruit good, or make the tree bad and its fruit bad. For the tree is known by its fruit. You brood of vipers, how can you speak good when you are evil? For out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks. The good person out of his good treasure brings forth good, and the evil person out of his evil treasure brings forth evil. I tell you, on the day of judgment, people will give account for every careless word they speak. For by your words you will be justified, and by your words you will be condemned. Go back to verse 34. For out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks. Meaning, what is abundant in your heart? What is the overwhelming factors of your heart? That's what you speak of, right? So if you're filled with good love, you're going to speak lovingly. You're going to speak of good, positive things. If your heart is filled with filthy things of this world, it's going to be relayed through your speech, right? You're going to be led into talking about things that are not righteous, things that are not fulfilling, right? And so ultimately, your heart, where you put your love and your trust and your faith and your fulfillment, your heart, your soul, right? That is what shows what you are expressing, right? And so it must be aligned with good in order to be doing good, right? Our bodies are a tree, and our action and our words is the fruit that it produces. And so either we're producing good things, fruitful things, or we're not. We're going to keep going in Matthew. Matthew chapter 22, verse 34, the great commandment. But when the Pharisees heard that he had silenced the Sadducees, they gathered together, and one of them, a lawyer, asked him a question to test him. Teacher, which is the great commandment in the law? Interesting, he calls him teacher. Teacher, which is the great commandment in the law? And he said to him, You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the great and first commandment, and a second is like it. Okay, these chipmunks just ran over here screeching. I put some peanuts out for them, but they're going wild. Here, let me give them a couple more. Oh, y'all don't need to fight. Chill. Like I was saying, they asked Jesus, Teacher, which is the great commandment in the law? And he said to him, You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is insane. I hope you can see all this. They're going at it. They're getting active for real. Hey! Come on, y'all. Y'all need to listen to the message. There's enough for everybody. There's no need to indulge. You've had enough. Relax. So, Jesus says, this is the greatest one. If you had to pick, this would be it. All right, you guys. As cool as this is, y'all are distracting. What? We'll pick back up. Jesus says, You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the great and first commandment. And a second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments depend all the law and the prophets. On those two things alone depends everything within the law. That's why I've mentioned in the past, stop worrying about the differences in opinion of different sects of Christianity, of different denominations. Jesus says right here, the greatest thing, therefore, the thing that we should put our most focus towards are these two things: loving your God with all of your heart, all of your soul, and all of your mind. And then loving your neighbor as yourself, treating your neighbor as if how you would want to be treated, which is servant-hearted, which is putting them above you, which is being unselfish, being there for somebody, being empathetic. And so that is the ultimate rule for us Christians, is to live with love, loving God with everything within you. And then that is going to carry over into your lifestyle, and then putting others before yourself, loving your neighbor as yourself, right? Christianity is interesting. It doesn't require anything. It doesn't require you to fast. It doesn't require you to go to church. It doesn't require you to read the Bible. It doesn't require you to go share the gospel with that random person in the grocery store. But once you love God and you love Jesus, you're going to make an effort to do these things, because that love in your heart and your soul, it drives you to your actions, right? And so once you set your mind, you set your eyes on the correct path, on the path of Jesus and the Bible, everything else is going to follow. your actions, your steps, it's going to be driven, it's going to be led by the Holy Spirit. And so don't worry about all the other details in Christianity and all the intricacies that you could debate through doctrine and what's intended and how to interpret this. This can be interpreted different ways, right? But that message right there about loving your neighbor, there's only one interpretation of that, right? And it's very practical, and it is by being selfless and by being humble, same way Jesus was. Focus on that, and everything else will fall into place. So I'm gonna show some video of these. Oh my gosh. That snow melt is certainly trickling down, man. It's kind of crazy to think about how it gets in the 70s up here, even probably 80 at its hottest. You know, we're a higher elevation, but this snow is going to stay here. It's heavy. Now it's melting like a mug right now, and so it makes you wonder, how does it not all melt? But there's so much dang snow to melt in the first place. I guess it just doesn't get fully there. I don't know, but we'll find out. We've got a little bit of sunlight trying to creep in there, but not much. We'll find out. Dang, all I can think of after seeing some nice view is it would have been sick up there. It would have been so nice. These mountains are vast. It's nothing but mountains surrounding us, and that was a fairly high point. And so, would have been so nice, but it's worth it now. The hike's always worth it. Just chilling at the top, looking out at the fog was worth it. That eerie feeling, that coldness of the fog sweeping over you, it's cool. But a nice clear view is a little bit cooler. At least I got something to see right on the way down.